voters in his war against the Republican establishment. This is not my war. This is our war. And you all didn't start it. The establishment started it. But I will tell you one thing. You all are going to finish it. Let's have a partners discussion about Alabama. In Alabama, the elites, the permanent political class, as personified by Mitch McConnell and Stephen Law and Karl Rove and that clique that's been running this town for 30 or 40 years, raised over $30 million to go after a good and righteous man, Judge Moore. And this money was not used to debate the great issues of the day. It was not to debate illegal immigration or America's foreign policy or Obamacare. That money was used to destroy Judge Moore and his family. The politics of personal destruction, as personified by the permanent political class, is the only way they can win. Now, Judge Moore raised about $2 million, right? $2 million versus $32 million. The entire contest, and a lot of folks called up and said, hey, you know, donors want to give money to Judge Moore. I was telling folks, as a private citizen, you know, I don't think that's smart. We have to prove the theory of the case down in Alabama. This is a test of wills. And we're going to determine down there who is more powerful. The money of the corporatist or the muscle of the people. You know why all those folks are back there, the world's media, you know why they're down here taking these photos? Yeah, this is not about me. It's not about Seb Gorka. It's not about Laura Ingraham. It's not about Tony Perkins. It's not about Mark Meadows. It's not about our beloved Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump. They're here because of you. They fear you. And they fear you because they understand you've had a belly full of it and you're taking your country back. And from the city of London to Beijing to the Gulf to Washington, D.C., Silicon Valley, Wall Street, they're nervous. And you know why they're nervous? They understand that you're the transmission of the best values of the Judeo-Christian West. The one thing we proved in Alabama, and you guys proved more than anything else, is that money doesn't matter anymore. In the days of the internet, in the digital era, the internet's helped disintermediate the mainstream media and the party bosses. And what it's done is made the analog world even more important. That a good man with good ideas, with good people to back him up, can beat any amount of money. Here's what's so unbelievable about Alabama. They think the good men and women, the sons and daughters of Alabama, just like they think of the working class folks and middle class folks at the country, are a bunch of morons, a bunch of idiots, a bunch of rubes. They think 30-second TV spots, tens of millions of dollars of 30-second TV spots can change people's opinion. Well, it can't. The most powerful thing is an authentic candidate, whether that is Donald Trump or whether it's Judge Moore, with good people going door to door and knocking on the door and telling people with passion, this is who you ought to vote for. You know who taught us that lesson? Barack Obama. You may not like Barack Obama's policies. You may not like him as a president, but let me tell you, as a politician, he knew exactly what he was doing. Rudy Giuliani, a good friend of mine, a man I really respect, stood on that stage in 2008 to mock and ridicule him in front of the Republican convention. Had that great line, "What's a community organizer?" I'll tell you what it is. Somebody could kick your ass. Twice. But the grassroots of the Tea Party and the evangelical Christians and the conservative Catholics learned that lesson. You too can go door to door. You too can ring doorbells. And folks understand when you come to the door, in your lived experience, they respect you. So when you talk about a Donald Trump or you talk about a Judge Moore, it means something. In Alabama, you folks were able to turn the tables. You took Mitch McConnell's money and you took it from his biggest asset to his biggest liability. The more money they spend, the fewer votes they get. Now, Mitch, I don't know if you're watching today. I don't know if you're watching Value Voters or you maybe have your staff. But if I can take a little riff on Plutarch and Shakespeare, up on Capitol Hill, because I've been getting calls, it's like before the Ides of March, right? The only question is, and this is just an analogy or metaphor, whatever you want to call it, they're just looking to find out who's going to be Brutus to your Julius Caesar. Yeah, Mitch, the donors are not happy. They've all left you. We've cut your oxygen off, Mitch, okay? The money's not courageous, but money is smart, okay? And right now, money's sitting there saying, hey, I see these folks. They're worked up. They're mad, and they're mad for a reason. Here's one of the reasons they're mad. And by the way, Southern Poverty Law Center, can you do me a favor? You talk about hate and everything like that. Why don't you go talk to your corporatist clients that give you all the money to run these folks down and ask them about the economic hate crimes they've been pulling on the working men and women of the United States of America? Why don't you answer for them? Why don't you answer for all the foundations of all these guys that put that money in, and let's look at their economic crimes. They've gutted this country. And you've taken their money and you call these good people hate crime perpetuators because they try to put forward the best values of a civilization that's been around for thousands of years. That's a hate crime. We're in the valley of decision. This is the fourth great turning in American history. We've had the Revolution. We've had the Civil War. We've had the Great Depression and World War II. This is the fourth. And we're going to be one thing. It's going to take 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years to go through this. And we're going to be one thing or the other on the other side of it. We're either going to be the country that was bequeathed to previous generations and to you, or we're going to be something else. And in that valley of decision, it's not about Mark Meadows and Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Mike Lee, and all the great leaders of the conservative movement, Vice President Pence, Laura Ingraham, Steve Bannon, Seb Gorka. The burden's on you. The burden's on your shoulders. On the morning of November 8th, right? I knew, as I told the president, the entire time as I stepped in there in August when he was, 16 points down, double digits in every battleground state, 70 on the generic ballot, got to be at 90, no money, not a lot of organization. I said, we can pull this thing together. You're going to win 100% metaphysical certitude you're going to win. On Billy Bush Saturday, everybody's running for the exits. Everybody's jumping ship. Nobody's making justifications for what the president said, including the president of the United States, or that time, candidate Trump himself. But I told him, 100% metaphysical certitude, you're going to win. Because folks are looking for change in this country. They're looking to take their country back, and you're the vehicle and instrument that's going to do it. And they don't care about locker room